I always thought this kind of resembles, I mean, the girth, the chunkiness, the way it looks, the thickness. It's a really large. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a cooking with me all day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I got my boys with me. We're off to the grocery store. Are you excited to cook?
No, I am watching my scary dog city. I'm on a bundle lining.
Okay, it looks like I'm cooking on my own today. Hey everybody, welcome back. We're getting some squash for our meals. I always thought this kind of resembles, I mean, the girth, the chunkiness, the way it looks, the thickness. It's a really large cucumber. I don't know what you were thinking. I was thinking, this is a daytime show, okay? There's kids here.
Everybody, let's get started. So I will be making some whole wheat, no sugar, no honey pancakes. And we start out with some milk. About a cup of any type of milk. You can even use cream if you wanted to. I've never used it. I'm using some good old-fashioned skim milk and some whole wheat flour. So about a cup of whole wheat flour. And mix that around. I've got my assistant's cute feet there too. That's the only sweetness you need for those pancakes. So mixing, and then we can add 1/3 cup of oats. This really adds a nice consistency and texture to the pancakes and a really filling taste as well for the kids. And some baking powder. I'm gonna be honest, I'm just measuring for the video. I usually just kind of like put, I guess, maybe a teaspoon in regardless. Same with baking soda. I don't really measure. I'm kind of measuring just for the camera, so you guys know I put in about a teaspoon of baking powder and about a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. I just think it just makes things fluffy and nice. Why measure? Just go with it. And a little bit of cinnamon. My son loves cinnamon, so I often add probably about a tablespoon of cinnamon into the pancakes, or more. Looks like more. Looks about 2 tablespoons. Give that a nice mix. Usually my son helps me make pancakes, but he was feeling a little bit unwell, so he's actually resting on the couch. But I've got my other cute guy helping out there. So I added 1 egg. Give that a nice mix. Tickle, tickle, tickle. Yeah. See, they're just hanging out there, those cute feet. It's just unresistible. And some vanilla. And I don't really measure that either. I just think it's just so nice and flavorful. Why not just go to town? So I think I add about a teaspoon of that. And here we are, melting the butter. And I always re-butter the pan between pancakes. I find that helps you flip them without ruining the shape or it sticking to the pan. I'm using a cast iron pan, and this is something I started using a few months ago, and I'm really enjoying it. Actually, I was really tired of my pans kind of giving out on me. So I'm just gonna flip. And you know they're basically ready to flip when you see the bubbles kind of coming up around them, and you give them a flip. And there we go. I try and present my food to my kids so I really feel like we eat with our eyes. So I try to use color, different textures. And I am such a foodie that I like to eat something that looks really attractive and beautiful as well. So I didn't add honey to the batter because my 10-month-old can't eat honey until they're 1 year old. So I added on the outside of it, around it. And I cut up some apples. Usually I have a bunch of berries. I sprinkle all over it, which is really beautiful and colorful. This works too. It's really tasty. You can sprinkle some cinnamon on top of it also. And then for my youngest, I basically break it up into pieces. No honey. That's me saying no honey. And so I'm just breaking it up into pieces. And I like to put it in his tray. And he's 10 months, and he actually started grabbing food months ago. Like, he really just wants to feed himself, which is different from the first. So you can add an avocado, a banana, anything that's in the fridge I basically use. And also it gets the kids used to trying different things. I know avocado and pancakes, I don't know, they may not go together, but a 10-month-old doesn't know that. So I use it as an opportunity to basically try something new. And there we have it. And there's, for the first little prince, gets his pancakes. And that's him giving thumbs up. It's kind of the index finger, but it works for me. Now it's a peace sign. Anyways, he loves these pancakes. And he actually requested them. And then this cute little prince here, I just break it apart and I put it on his tray. And he will grab it right away. I mean, he grabs everything. Next up is lunch. And this is something simple, but very healthy. Egg salad sandwich. So I've got hard-boiled eggs, seasoning salt, carrots, pepper, mayonnaise, whole wheat bread. And I love using onions and celery, but my son doesn't like onions and celery, so I didn't use it. But you can put anything you want. So these are just hard-boiled eggs. I boil them for about 8 to 10 minutes. I'm just, once they're peeled, you mash, like mashed potatoes. And my son loves doing this part. They were both napping before lunch, so I just decided to quickly make this. And it's really easy. You can add any veggies you want, and they don't even know because it's in mayonnaise. It's kind of hidden in mayonnaise, so you can take advantage of that. I just had carrots laying around, which is just fine. I'm cutting them into small pieces because my 10-month-old, it's a bit too long and hard for him at this point, so I'm kind of cutting them into little tiny pieces. And I'm putting them in the eggs, the mashed eggs. And honestly, I used to kind of grate and shred the cheese and carrots and whatnot, but ever since having kids, I'm like, I'm going to treat myself to buying pre-shredded things. That's my little treat for me, because I really don't like shredding. Next is mayonnaise, and this is kind of up to you how you want the consistency to be. You might want it to be really lumpy, so you wouldn't add as much mayonnaise. I love mayonnaise. I feel like just having mayonnaise on its own, that's how good it is. It's just really delicious. So there you go, I'm adding some more. And my kids love the mayonnaise, and I find that it's easier to hide veggies in it that they may or may not like. So it's a really good option for kids that don't want to eat veggies. I'm adding a bit of pepper and some seasoning salt. My eldest loves seasoning salt in everything, so I'm adding a bit of that, and I give it a really good mix. Smells good. I eat this too, but I add onions and celery to mine as well. I love onions. So some whole wheat bread. I get multigrain, whole wheat, whatever's on sale that's in that category, and I'm just spreading it thinly on. For my youngest, I spread it thinly, and for my eldest, I kind of put a bit more on there because he can handle a bit more. And once you have it all spread out, you can put the other bread on top, and it's pretty simple. Simple but very healthy. And again, you can mix it up. I often add chicken breast as well in there sometimes. I'm a side kind of girl. I have to have a side and basically a dessert to every meal. So my kids always have a side to everything and anything, essentially. So some pears, they were in the fridge, so I used it. I can use apples, bananas. Next up is dinner. I love my lasagna. It is so delicious. So I'm starting out, whatever veggies you have in the fridge, you just cut them up. I don't care what it is, it all kind of just tastes the same, that delicious pasta flavor. So I have a bunch of peppers, just putting them in there. I find this dish is really good for any veggies that are expiring soon and you want to get rid of them, so you just dump them in this dish. So everything was pre-washed before cutting and putting them into the dish. I just didn't show that part. Onions, I love onions. They are so delicious. I could add them to ice cream, an onion ice cream. So I'm just adding 2 onions, carrots, squash, and eggplant. So that's what I had in my fridge. The squash I bought, as you saw in the earlier video. And garlic, oh my gosh, garlic and onions. I must sound really fun to make out with. Garlic and onion breath. Anyway, so some oil to the pan. And I just do, even not enough to coat the bottom. It's not a big deal. And I dump all the veggies in there, literally just throw them in there. I don't wait for the onion to cook and then the garlic. I don't got time for that. So I just literally dump everything in there and go with it, and it all mixes up. It all tastes good. I'm adding some corn. I realized I had corn after, so I went to the fridge and got some corn. And then I also had some of the grated carrot left from the lunch earlier, so I've decided to add that as well. And again, any veggies you add to this lasagna, it's gonna taste yummy, delicious pasta. So it doesn't matter, you can hide it again. So I love using ground chicken. I think it's more tender. I like the taste of it. So sometimes I make my own pasta sauce. Sometimes whatever's in my pantry. So I had classico pasta sauce. If I were to make my own sauce, I would just add oregano, thyme, basil, that kind of stuff to a tomato sauce. But I didn't have tomato sauce, so I just used the classico pasta sauce. And you just mix it around, let it simmer for a bit. And a little bit of black pepper. I don't add too much because, again, my eldest will tell me there's too much flavor to it. And basil, of course, he loves basil, so I always add about maybe 3 tablespoons in the end. It gives a really nice flavor, and I just let it simmer. And then I have my Tex-Mex cheese. Again, I don't want to shred, so I buy it already made. I love these oven-baked ready noodles. You don't have to boil them. You just break them and put them on. So I'm just layering it. As you see, I'm putting it straight on, and it cooks in the oven. It's called oven-ready noodles. The only thing is you have to cover it with foil and let it bake for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on what the box says. So I'm just layering it, and the top layer always ends in cheese. Usually I have green onion to add color. I didn't have it, so I'm adding some basil for a little touch. I'm going to foil it up, and really, because I think the foil basically helps the noodles cook. And the leftover, I freeze in these freezer bags. So when I'm really sick or if I have the flu, we don't like eating out very much. So I basically bust out one of these, thaw it out, throw some noodles in, and there's spaghetti. So this is for like when a mom is sick and I want to have some home cooked food for the boys. So it makes it easy. Again, I need a side. I love a side. So it's going to be baked yam fries. And these are my favorite because they're sweet, they're healthy for the kids, they're super easy to make. They take about, honestly, like 25 minutes in like a 400-degree oven. The lasagna, again, is also a 400-degree oven, and it takes about 45 minutes to an hour. The thicker you make the fries, the longer it takes to cook, so I don't make them too thick. So I'm going to put some oil and seasoning salt on and mix it around. I'm telling you, it tastes delicious. You would never ever deep fry fries again after trying these baked yam fries. They're delicious. And I usually do I'm quite generous on the seasoning salt. For my youngest, I do not give him any salt. There we go, all done. And this is the most delicious, oh gosh, look at that. Look at that, my mouth is watering, it's delicious. Yeah, it's as good as it looks. And it's healthy too. I mean, I can't really, like, they're kids, right? They need a lot of cheese, dairy, calcium, all that good stuff, meat, protein. So, I mean, you cannot go wrong. Yum. Delicious. Can't go wrong. Anyways, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, like this video, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And if you want to see more of what I cook at home, please comment below on what you cook or your meal ideas. Anyways, thank you for watching and have a wonderful evening. Bye.